Hello everyone, we are Team number 9 Global Avengers, and this is our solution for case number 3, vertical farming.
By 2050, more than two-thirds of global population will live in the urban areas. Our project, the vertical farming, will be the most effective and profitable solution for maximizing utilization of scarce urban space, ensuring sustainable urban food security and combating climate change issues due to rapidly population growth. The primary goal of vertical farming is to produce more food per square meters by cultivating the crops in stack layers. It's organic, lacks exposure to chemicals, and allowed crops being grown year-round. In fact, it uses 95% less water than that of traditional farming. It is a globally profiting business opportunity considering it has the potential to be implemented in any urban areas. Only on the first year, the vertical farming can be established in the first location. In the next 2 to 4 years, our company will plan to expand to another 4 to 5 locations to secure the profitability. Therefore, investors can essentially gain back the investment return in 5 years' time.
The problem that we want to solve is lack of basic needs such as food and water. Currently, world's population is at 7.8 billion people and constantly increasing. By 2050, we would need to increase our food production by 70% to keep up with current consumption trends. We're encountering challenges such as drought and lack of clean water, a lack of space, and land prices are constantly rising in all major urban cities around the globe, and we need an alternative to traditional agriculture. The solution to these problems is vertical farming. It is urban food production locally, transparently, and sustainably. It is the practice of growing crops in vertically stacked layers. You don't need any soil, and you can do farming indoors, anywhere and all year round, regardless of the climate conditions. For location, we recommend to invest in Finland, which is a forerunner in vertical farming. Europe's largest vertical farming plant is in Finland, and there are established operators in Finland in vertical farming who work in close cooperation, which enable learning from peers and developing the technology forward. Why you should invest in vertical farming is because it's the future of agriculture. The initial cost of establishing a vertical farming plant is substantial, which is why venture capital is needed. But the potential long-term future growth and profits offered by being at the forefront of this developing market is making it an attractive proposition.
I will now discuss vertical farming and its value proposition under 6 inner headings of price, features, quality, support, availability and reputation. Our price is competitive with traditional farming produce, but with more sustainable aspects. We will be able to supply fresh produce all year round. Our features are original customised, a sustainable complement to traditional farming, with an initial focus on higher value greens and herbs. We will be near urban demand and in a controlled growing environment. This will produce higher yields, require less water and land use, and will be pesticide-free and using controlled fertilizer use. We have an excellent quality proposition, locally produced product and pesticide-free. Our support is comprehensive. It will be with a strong emphasis on customer support, ensuring that any problem is fixed promptly and without question. And we place high value on face-to-face interaction and feedback from customers. Our availability is selected on the universal as a local supplier to consumers, supermarkets and restaurants. Our reputation will be respected as a supplier of high quality, sustainable produce, locally grown and pesticide-free.
For the cost, we must consider and identify factors that influence vertical farming costs, such as spend on energy, equipment, quantity and quality, laws, and professional staff. Internationalization includes a good marketing plan and promote idea and intention to expand and implement vertical farming. Well-known advantages of growing food within the urban territory can be beneficial environmentally, socially, and economically. Risks to take into account legal and financial statements when deployment into a new market entails to hire a team of advisors, especially at the local level. Another element to overcome must be the potential cultural barrier that may exist between the country of origin and the territory subject to business. For selection, we must identify target countries interested in vertical farming, where to act, and in-depth investigation. Identify also the leading economic indicators, political stability, and economic criteria indicators such GDP, price evolution, imports, and exports. Another aspect that we must take into account in our internationalization plan are languages, geographical distance, cultural affinity, and size of the market. For the strategy, we must take into account that we are not going to be the only ones who have talked about internationalizing the company. Therefore, we will have to compete with other companies and venture capital that also want to operate in the same market. Search, identify, analyze, and selection of the local partners that meet the conditions and requirements that from a formal and business perspective can meet our expectation. Collaborating with other projects, companies, or even governments becomes the first option to link vertical farming with other initiatives. Internationalization process is not easy. Still, several departments within the organization must be absolute to promote vertical farming. There must be members working only within the business development department and look for professional profiles that seek to fit in the requirements of an internationalization plan.
I'm going to talk about a model on how to guide internationalization with suitable governance choices. Internationalization should focus on the benefits that implementing vertical farming would provide to the target locations, while also keeping in mind the technology's reliance on electricity. To combat the reliance on electricity, it would be feasible to combine the farm units with solar and wind power on biofuel generators. The benefits that should be emphasized would be the year-round crop growth possibilities, the mobility of the farm, and the possibility to grow crops locally, some of which are usually outsourced from the other climate zones in the world. A good method for achieving the internationalization successfully with vertical farms would be to include governments and their agricultural divisions as partners, or even as the customers to sell the vertical farms to. That way, the governments can locate these as per their liking, and as a result, increase the supply of various crops in their country and combat the increased demand for food due to population growth. The timeline for developing the business is the following. The first year would consist of acquiring a venture capitalist with an initial investment of 3.3 million euros and launch to the first location with 1,000 square meters of production area. On the second year, the goal would be to reach revenue of 500,000 euros and start research into next two locations. The third year would consist of the launch at the second and third location, widen customer segments by offering sales and lease of the farm units, and research to the next two locations. Also, the fourth year, the goal is to achieve market leader role in the vertical farm sector in Finland, expand to locations 4 and 5, and expansions in the previous locations. And finally, at the fifth year, the goal would be to reach annual revenue of 30 million euros, achieve economies of scale, pay back the VC, and continue expansions and product development or sell the ownership of the firm. Vertical farming is a low-risk, high-reward opportunity for investment, and at 3.3 million euros initial investment sum, the repayment in 5 years is guaranteed, as vertical farming provides a method of sustainable profitability due to the produce being grown and sold every month of the year. Let's save the world together. Thank you for your attention.